And they, I think some of that could be the result of having a young team, not necessarily fully aware of what's going on. And, you see a break opportunity and you want.
Before Mel Thomas was lighting it up at UConn, she made a name for herself on the banks of the Ohio. She led Mount Notre Dame High School to a 28-0 record, a state championship, and a #2 national ranking. Tonight, for the first time as a Husky, she's back in her hometown. Mel Thomas's homecoming, next on CPTV. Well, before there was Oscar the Grouch, there was this Oscar Robertson, the greatest Bearcat of them all. And tonight we come your way from the Big O's old stomping ground, Cincinnati, Ohio. We are at Fifth Third Arena where the 5th-ranked UConn Huskies visit the Cincinnati Bearcats. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo. It figures to be a very memorable evening for one Husky. Mel Thomas was an All-American when she played her high school basketball 9 miles north of here. And Megan, it's always very special when you play in front of family and friends in your hometown for the first time.
Yeah, there's no feeling that's better. Now, she plays in front of thousands of people at Campbell Pavilion all the time, but there's nothing like coming home. And what is it going to be? Probably over 100 people who are here to watch Mel and cheer her on. You see her impressive three-point numbers. Now, she leads the Big East in three-pointers a game. That 45% from three-point range gets her second in the conference. She actually shoots better from three-point range than she does from two. And the key all season long has been just getting her as many threes as possible. She's proven that when she gets them, she knocks them in.
And like Mel Thomas, Cincinnati has 8 players from Ohio, and one of them is the Big East Rookie of the Week.
Yeah, Carla Jacobs from nearby Cleveland had a sensational week last week. Had a career-high 10 assists against Georgetown. Now, it's impressive that a freshman will come in and lead the team in assists to turnovers. To not only be able to distribute the ball, but take care of it and not turn it over is a rare quality in a freshman.
And while Cincinnati has the Big East Rookie of the Week, UConn has the Big East Player of the Week. Delana Green, the first Husky to get that honor this season. The opening tip is next.
Thanks so very much.
Well, Megan, I think you and I are the only ones not wearing a number 25 here tonight. Back in Cincinnati for UConn and the Bearcats. Only the second meeting between the two teams. Let's check the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Huskies, freshman Tina Charles tied a school record with 9 blocked shots Saturday against Notre Dame. Only 1 block shy of the second triple-double in school history. She'll be at center. And for Cincinnati, Treasure Humphreys leads the team in scoring, steals, free throw shooting, and is tied for the team lead in assists. UConn's Gino Oriema is a 5-time National Coach of the Year. And Lori Pirtle has coached Cincinnati to 8 postseason tournament appearances in the last 9 years. Only the second year for Cincinnati in the Big East. And the way the Big East schedule works is you play one opponent twice in a year. Cincinnati, UConn only plays once, so this, Meg, is not only the first time that Mel will play here, but the only time since she's a junior.
And, you can have those nerves. I just hope for her sake, in front of all of her friends and folks from back home, I hope she plays well.
June Courteau working tonight with Joanne Aldridge and Laura Morris. First shot of the game, no good. And we're going to get a takedown on the rebound against the Bearcats. Jill Stevens picked up the foul. Jill Stevens, when she was a senior in high school in Mineral Wells, West Virginia, was the runner-up in the voting for the Player of the Year award. The one who won it, number 20 in the blue tonight, Renee Montgomery, Player of the Year in the state. Charles, foul line, takes the quick shot, and the rebound last touched by Charles.
And we see Tina Charles wearing a brace on that right shoulder for the first time this season. She told me that shoulder's been bothering her since she was 12. It must be maybe subluxing a little bit, just popping out and going back in. Something off-season shoulder surgery would hopefully fix.
Maybe it's sore from swatting all those shots away the other night against Notre Dame. She blocked 9 of them. Low block, Jill Stevens spins on Houston. Rebound kept alive. It's Montgomery. We're scoreless. We played 45 seconds. Montgomery in transition. And the rebound comes down to Stevens. This is Humphreys, who came off the bench last time out and didn't have an assist, ending a streak of 62 straight games with an assist. Stevens, left side Humphreys, gets a step on Green. Nice move.
Nice take to the basket by Treasure Humphreys. She can dish, but she can also score. As you said earlier, leads this team 13 points a game.
First points of the game, 2-0 Bearcats. We've played a minute 20. Mel Thomas looking inside. Cincinnati right now looks like maybe a 1-3-1, Megan?
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. I was just going to say that this team doesn't come out always. So they have a tendency this year to come out flat. And I like the way for Cincinnati's, from their perspective, they've come out, they scored the first bucket of the game. That should, I think, lead to some positive energy for the Bearcats against the 5th-ranked Huskies.
2-0 Cincinnati. 18-10 remaining. Left-handed shot by Michelle Jones, no good. Foul will be on Charles.
And you alluded to the defense at last possession. They're a short team. They're a young team. They got a tough time matching up with the Huskies. And Mel Thomas is the only proven three-point shooter. Why not get into his zone? That's what everybody does against the Huskies.
And Mel Thomas and this young lady know each other very well. They were teammates for 3 years at Mount Notre Dame High School right here in Cincinnati. Michelle Jones is a sophomore. Mel, of course, is a junior. They're very good friends, and they keep in touch quite frequently. And Mel, realizing that there would be a tremendous representation from her old high school here tonight. Several busloads are here. She wondered, I wonder who they're going to be rooting for, because a lot of them are friends of Michelle as well.
Yeah, so they may have a 25. And then they can think, or is it backwards? It's a 52.
They should root
Take care of everybody.
It's simple. You root for the team with the ball.
Yep, exactly.
On the right, it's Houston. Looks inside, nothing there. 4-0 Cincinnati. Lob pass down low, no one home.
Well, Tina Charles was open, but she fell.
Humphreys penetrates left side. Jacobs, kind of a weird delivery, almost from the waist, couldn't get it to go. And Montgomery comes away. The pass left side, Green. As she starts to go, we get a blocking foul, and that's 2 quick fouls on Jill Stevens.
Stevens is one of those athletic, intelligent kind of kids that you want out on the floor. She stepped in nicely to help. Just didn't quite get there in time.
So she will sit down with the 2 fouls, replaced by Karen Twiyus, 6-foot senior from Switzerland. Charles, foul line, Green, wide open look.
So far, these rims not kind to the Huskies.
Humphreys comes the other way. UConn came off a very unusual performance Saturday against Notre Dame. They had more turnovers than field goals.
Nice box out, but not quite enough.
Angel Morgan missed the shot, and a good hustle rebound for the Bearcats.
Yeah, Twiyus really worked hard to get away from Sharday Houston. Sharday did a good job of boxing out for a few seconds. And then you got to release and get to the ball.
Right side, Jacobs. 3 minutes gone. UConn has yet to score. Foul line jumper, Morgan. And another nice box out. But again, Twiyus was quicker to the ball.
And like I said, it's one thing. The Huskies are doing a good job. You always see a blue jersey on a red jersey bodied up. But once the ball comes down, you got to release and get to the ball.
Cincinnati out rebounding the Huskies 5 too early. Montgomery, deep 3. Her 20th of the year.
That'll open things up inside, extend that defense.
These are 2 of the best rebounding teams in the country. UConn 1st in the league, 5th in the country in rebound margin. Cincinnati 3rd in the league, 12th in the country in rebound margin. Charles pulls down that defensive board. Green on the wing. Step back jumper, boy. She adds something new to her game every night.
Well, could you imagine, because of how explosive she is getting to the basket, if she can perfect that jab step there with the dribble and pull back. Oh, wow.
Green named yesterday the Big East Player of the Week. First time in her career. First UConn player to win that honor this year. There have been 11 of them. And away from the play, June Courteau is going to get a foul in the lane on Cincinnati. So Gina Auriemma's club took a while to get going. They trail by 1. It's been a very busy week for Mary Thomas, the mother of Mel. She is one of 10 children herself, by the way, Mary is. So let me see if I can get the number, if we can remember the numbers correctly. She said her family bought 80 tickets. Mary bought 30 for her high school friends that she still hangs with. Mary said her father-in-law bought another 20, so that's 130 right there. That doesn't include the several busloads from Mount Notre Dame High School. It is indeed a homecoming for that young lady.
That's a lot of tickets.
Of course, Mary and her husband Jeff have gone to so many of UConn's games in Mel's 3 seasons there. They travel all over the place, and as Mary put it, there will be no inheritance. We're spending it all on travel.
and Megan Gardner asked Mel at one point, do your parents work?
Do they have jobs? Out of the timeout, Kylie McLaren, number 41, is in for UConn. Down low, Charles passes out of the double team. Green left side jumper.
Just in time before the shot clock expired. I should say that Mel's dad, Jeff, is sitting behind the bench. Maybe the secret to their success in going to these games is not sitting together. I think that worked for my parents, by the way.
That's the secret to the longevity of the marriage. Boy, am I going to get in trouble when I get home for saying that. Top of the circle is Jacobs. Green with 4 points in the early going. Pass baseline Morgan. Missed everything. That Tweed is all over the place.
She really is.
Throws up the 3, no good. And McLaren with the flat-footed rebound. UConn on a 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes.
But another nice box out. UConn doing an impressive job of getting a body on him every time a shot goes up.
And there she is, Mel Thomas.
Gets a high five from Mom. Well, you know, I'm glad that Mel came home to play in front of her hometown as a junior, because there is a lot of pressure. You know, if she were a freshman, it'd be a little bit more difficult. And these kids are used to big-time pressure, but there is nothing like coming home and playing in front of your family and your friends and acquaintances.
The 10-0 UConn run and a traveling call in the lane on Thomas's high school teammate Michelle Jones. She'll sit down, replaced by Amy Ogaday, a 6'2" junior from Rockmart, Georgia. Some full court pressure employed by the Bearcats. Lori Pirtle told me we need to mix it up. We don't think we can play this team man to man, and you'll see a little bit of everything. Half court, 3/4 court, full court pressure. We have to try to disrupt their rhythm. Thomas thought about it. Right side Green wide open. That's not a good idea.
That's her spot too. She likes that right wing just a little bit up from the baseline.
3 for 4 from the floor already for the Big East Player of the Week. This is now a 12-0 UConn run. 2-3 Husky zone. Baseline jumper Morgan. No good. Charles with the rebound. Her third. Montgomery left side. Backs her way in. Leads to McLaren. And she throws it up. Foot was on the line. It's a 2. It's a 14-0 UConn run, and Lori Pirtle wants to talk things over. 5 straight shots made by the Huskies. 5 for the last 5.
And that's the way they do it, Bob. They do it in those streaks where they hold you from scoring and that they go off. And what is so dangerous about this Husky team this year is they do it in so many different ways. I mean, we've seen Mel hit a 3. We've seen Kalena hit a couple jumpers from the wing. Renee Montgomery hit a 3 there. McLaren trailing on the break gets the near 3 in. I mean, she has 3-point range.
UConn very efficient, leading the Big East and 3rd in the country in scoring. That's why it was so unusual the other night when they had more turnovers than field goals. 27 turnovers, and Gino Auriemma said, when I was a kid their age, you didn't have 27 turnovers in 2 months. Now you get 20 in a game and no one's upset, except the head coach, of course.
Yeah, upset is the understatement.
That was one of his co-rants of the week. The other one was on text messaging. Another traveling violation on the Bearcats.
Yeah, the modes of communication between high school kids and coaches in the recruiting process is just very different. We'll leave it at that.
Here's Montgomery. Cincinnati trying to extend that zone a little bit. Shelly Bellman, number 22, has checked in. Cincinnati scored the first 6 points, and it's been all UConn since. Montgomery with the miss. McLaren with the putback.
More proof that if you don't get a body and box out, you can give up something easy. Good job on McLaren crashing the boards.
A 16-0 UConn run. Pass into the post, knocked away by McLaren. Jacobs to Bellman. Bellman, left side Humphreys. Baseline jumper missing badly Jacobs. Rebound knocked over the end line by the Bearcats.
Well, she missed it badly because it was a quick release. She wanted to get it off quickly instead of maintaining some composure. First time you see the freshman a little bit nervous.
Soignier in for UConn replacing Charles. Normally her entrance quickens the pace. She is the quickest of UConn's players. And along with Montgomery formed quite a tandem at point guard. Thomas looking for her second three. Doesn't drop, but she'll go to the line to shoot three.
See, Kylie McLaren, we've talked about it a lot this year, Bob, is such a good passer. I love the presence of mind to square up and then know exactly where Mel Thomas is in the corner and fire her the ball.
First foul on Twiyu's 3 on the team. And Thomas not only is very efficient from behind the arc, but from the foul line, she's lights out, 92.1%. Does not have enough free throw attempts to qualify for the league leaders.
And she has brought her team's average up to 66%.
Mel was a senior. She was the Associated Press Co-Player of the Year in the state of Ohio. And there's her mother, Mary. She was a McDonald's, Parade Magazine, USA Today, and WBCA All-American. And she played on a great high school team that went 28-0, won the state's Division I championship, and was ranked #2 in the country by the USA Today. #1, by the way, was the Christ the King team that had UConn's Tina Charles on. Bellman to Jacobs. UConn very, very aggressive with the man-to-man defense. Humphreys in the corner, back out to Jacobs. Shot clock at 10. Bellman, kick out Humphreys. Shoots over Soignier. And the long rebound, Green did a nice tight roping act on the sideline.
And Twiyu's there again, running down the rebound.
Soignier, Green looks inside from McLaren, nothing there. Soignier back out top. Now she lobs it over the head.
Nice help coming from the weak side by Humphreys.
And we will get a foul on UConn. I think it might be on Montgomery. #1 on Montgomery and #2 on the Huskies, who have scored 19.
Welcome.
Well, we have located the other half of the Thomas. That's Jeff Thomas, sitting next to Keisha's dad, Smokey, as he's known by everyone. His real name is Cornell. Jeff spends quite a bit of time on the internet looking for airline deals so that he and his wife Mary can travel to go see the daughter play basketball. And if they get a better deal, they'll drive to Indianapolis or Louisville and fly out of there instead of out of Cincinnati.
Well, you got to remember, she's only a junior. She's got another year of this. And they went with the team to Europe. They're everywhere.
Foul on Kylie McLaren, and let's see if Cincinnati can end this drought. They haven't scored since the 1650 mark. So they've gone 5 minutes and 27 seconds without a point. Outscored 19-0, and it finally ends.
Appropriate that the reigning freshman of the week knocks it in. Carla Jacobs.
Lori Pirtle is a big fan of her point guard. She says she's an old-fashioned true point guard right down to the scoop shot. And she loves to play good, hard defense. And I'm not sure that everyone her age you can say that about. Offense is fun. Defense takes work. McLaren gives to the cutter Montgomery. Gets a step on Bellman.
What a smart play by Montgomery to see the defense a little bit unsettled and just attack the hoop.
5 points for Montgomery. Preseason nominee for the Naismith National Player of the Year Award, Michelle Jones.
Tough move.
Nice footwork inside. So that's Cincinnati's first field goal since the 1650 mark. They went 6 minutes without a field goal. They missed 10 shots in a row.
That's a tough pass Montgomery tried to complete there. Too much action.
23 seconds left in the shot clock. Kalena Green back in for the Huskies, replacing McLaren. He did a very nice job in there.
Yeah, that's a really good sub. She did do a nice job, but you know what? She's tired. He needs to give her a break before her fatigue sets in and makes her make mistakes.
Away from the play, we're going to get a holding call on Treasure Humphreys, who, among other things, might have the greatest name in college basketball.
There's no doubt about it.
For what's her real name?
DeAndrea.
DeAndrea. All right. Well, would you rather be known as DeAndrea or Treasure?
You know what? It's a win-win for her. They both are.
Green with the miss. Left side, Bellman. Guarded by Thomas. Now up top to Humphreys, picked up by Montgomery. Humphreys last year's second team All Big East selection in Cincinnati's first year in the league. Shot clock at 10. Bellman gets a double screen, then gives to Jacobs. Steps behind the line, can't knock it down, and Green with a terrific box out for the rebound. Montgomery takes it to the middle and finds Soignier. Down low, Charles, deflected by Jones. Green comes away. Down low to Charles again, and she hurt her shoulder. You could see her wince as she went to extend for the ball, and she'll come right back out.
Every time your arm is up in that position, should you get hit, that's the most vulnerable position. And that example right there illustrates how tough it is to play this game when you have a bad shoulder like that.
And you can speak from personal firsthand experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, having dislocated both of mine, see her arm is out and it gets hit in that position, and that's, as I said, when that shoulder is at its most vulnerable.
So trainer Rosemary Regal will tend to Charles on the bench. McLaren right back in. We're past the midway point of the half. It's UConn by 11. Bellman's pass to Humphreys. Drop step. McLaren blocked it. Then Green one time the pass to Montgomery for a 3-on-2 break. She looks for help, dumps it down low to McLaren. Tough catch, and she is fouled by Twiyus.
I have to wonder if Renee Montgomery about 2.5 weeks ago would have shot that ball, Bob. And we've been talking a lot about how Gino wants her to try to dish a little bit more. And McLaren did a nice job of staying with it as she got fouled.
Second foul on Twiyus, 5 on the team. And McLaren will go to the free throw line. 6'2" freshman. Played at Our Lady of Good Counsel High School in Olney, Maryland, just outside the District of Columbia. She lives in Washington, D.C.
She's got such a great rotation and sweet stroke.
Well, you can see the look of anguish on Charles's face. She's seated next to associate head coach Chris Daly.
And the problem is there's not a whole lot you can do except rest. Yeah, you just got to rest her. And, you know, limit contact during practice. And that being said, you know, we haven't seen Brittany Hunter at all. So they're banged up in the post.
Hunter, of course, like Thomas, playing in her home state tonight. Brittany is from Columbus. And a pushing call on Bellman. She used the hand to push off. That's her first, 6 on the team.
Yeah, that was a good call. She did use that right arm to push Montgomery back.
Bellman was the Northwest Ohio Player of the Year her senior year at Ottawa Glandorf High School in Ottawa, Ohio. 8 of the 11 players on the Cincinnati team are Ohio natives. Montgomery, deep 3. Missed badly, and McLaren with good quick hands for the rebound. Wow. That ball went from being on the floor to in the hoop
in a hurry,
in a heartbeat.
And she is back in the game after Charles went out, and she is going to have to play more and more minutes for this team.
She's got 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting.
She's a smart basketball player.
Pass down low, Jones spins, kick out Jacobs for 3. Got it.
She's shooting 30% from the floor, which isn't bad. Again, I'm just so impressed with this freshman, with her stats coming into this game. Let's make that transition from high school to college.
18-3 of the season for Jacobs. Montgomery on the left. 8:10 remaining, first half. UConn by 12. Soignier, deep 3 from the right side, air ball. Last touch by Montgomery. Soignier is shooting only 21.4% from three-point range. And as opponents pack it in defensively to try to defend the post, more and more they are leaving Soignier those open looks.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot this year. You know, she's open by design, and until she knocks down that shot, teams are going to leave her open.
Soignier showing what she does best with her 46th steal. She's 7th in the Big East, but she turns the ball over. But UConn has received quite a contribution off the bench from freshman Kylie McLaren. 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting. It's the Huskies by a dozen.
Athletics.
UConn has won 61 of its last 69 road games. They lead Cincinnati by 12. and some famous alumni from the University of Cincinnati. How about President William Howard Taft? Basketball Hall of Famers Jack Twyman and Oscar Robertson. Baseball Hall of Famers Sandy Koufax. You can take the last three.
Good, because I have no idea who they are.
I'm sure they're
but
very
they're famous. Yes, they are in their own right.
Well, you would be hard-pressed to identify anyone who had a better college basketball career than Oscar Robertson. Of course, freshmen were not eligible to play back then, varsity basketball. So he played 3 years, and he was the National Player of the Year 3 times.
Wow.
Scored nearly 3,000 points in 3 years, and he averaged 33 points a game for 3 years.
Could you imagine if he had played for 4?
Traveling violation on the Bearcats. They've now turned the ball over 6 times. Oscar Robertson, and those first 3 years were the first 3 of 5 consecutive trips to the Final Four for Cincinnati, the first team ever to do that. And of course, he went on to have one of the great NBA careers of all time as well. There is a bronze statue of the Big O outside this building. And we'd show it to you, except the wind chill factor is about 10 degrees in Cincinnati tonight. So you'll just have to take our word for it. Away from the play, we'll get a foul inside on the Bearcats. That will be on Michelle Jones, her first 7 on the team. And Charles, as you can see clearly, is back in there. Now, Megan, tell me a little bit about when you get hit in the shoulder, you look at the look on her face. Obviously, it hurts tremendously. But how quickly does the pain subside to allow you to go back out and function?
I think, first of all, she's incredibly tough. But, you know, when your ligaments get stretched out, it doesn't, the pain doesn't linger that long because the ligaments are already stretched. So, you know, and she's got a high pain threshold, you know.
And by going out there, she's not running the risk of doing more damage?
Well, I'm sure she is because she's out there playing. But I'm sure that the medical staff, Rosemary Regal, the doctors, I mean, if she were going to do harm, you know, they wouldn't let her play. It's just what she can handle until they get it fixed.
Cincinnati travels again. 7 turnovers on the Bearcats, and I'll bet all but one of them have been travels. The Bearcats back off to half-court token pressure.
Well, UConn might be having flashbacks from the Notre Dame game. How many travels did we see in that contest?
27 turnovers. Both of these teams, Cincinnati and UConn, in their last game, Cincinnati played Marquette on Saturday. UConn played Notre Dame. Both teams had more turnovers than field goals. Charles with the tough catch and shoot in traffic, and Humphreys comes away with a rebound with 6.5 remaining.
I dare to say that a lot of times Tina Charles rushes that shot because she's afraid of getting her arm hit when she's extended up to shoot.
Morgan
I could be wrong, Bob, but that's my take on it.
Jacobs resets the offense. Shot clock down to 10. Now she'll try the left side. Feeds the post down low. Head fake. Jones with the miss. Rebound Charles, her 4th. Here's Soignier. Finds Thomas. Open 3 from the right. Barely grazed the rim. Rebound on a hop to Humphreys. Thomas has taken just 2 shots tonight. She's 1 for 2. Because remember, she was fouled while taking that 3, so that does not count as a field goal attempt. Made all 3 free throws. Humphreys for 3.
Only her 12th 3 on the season.
Soignier beats the press single-handedly. McLaren high post jump hook. Rebound in the lane is pulled down by Amy Ogade.
Yeah, that wasn't a shot. She just kind of threw that up there.
A little bit quick on the trigger, perhaps. Low block Jones. Spins, left hand. Got it.
Well, Soignier came down to help. A lot of good effort there, not properly executed by the Huskies. See, watch. She's supposed to. Now you're supposed to force her move. Now, a couple things didn't happen. Soignier didn't trap in there hard enough, and Kylie McLaren didn't move her feet enough. You're supposed to move your feet so that when she goes to shoot it, she hits you right in the chest. So that means you got to move your feet twice, 2 times to every one of her steps. It's hard work.
Second foul on McLaren, 4 on UConn. McLaren sits down with 8 points and 3 rebounds. Replaced by freshman Megan Gardler. 6-footer out of Springfield, Pennsylvania. So Gardler in the lineup a little bit sooner than she usually enters the game.
Well, this kid Gardler is a smart basketball player. She understands where to be and what to do. She's going to find herself on the court.
This foul is going to be on Humphries. The hand check, her second 8 on the team. And to the line will go Montgomery to shoot the 1-and-1. Jacobs back in for Cincinnati, replacing Humphries. Also checking in number 34, Stephanie Stevens, a 5'7" freshman from Pickerington, Ohio. There she is. Cincinnati is 12-8. They're 3-5 in the Big East. They've lost their last 3 home games to Xavier, Seton Hall, and Marquette. And by the way, Xavier, of course, that is a crosstown rivalry. There was a tremendous promotion to try to fill this place, and they did. They had 13,000 people for the women's game between Xavier and the Bearcats.
That's unbelievable. And I think it's so important for teams to know what it's like to play in front of crowds like that, because what Connecticut has is rare.
Right. Which I think sometimes the folks in Connecticut don't fully appreciate how rare it is.
No.
As we travel around, every place UConn goes in the Big East on the road, it's always the biggest crowd of the year for the home team, and usually their biggest crowd ever.
Yeah.
CPTV in 8.
Just as many Connecticut fans as the home team.
Foul on Montgomery, her second 5 on the team. Thomas right back in after getting a brief rest. She replaces Montgomery. So Montgomery sits down with 7 points and 2 assists. And Jacobs inbounds beneath her own hoop for the Bearcats. Gives to Angel Morgan. Goes right around Thomas. Missed the shot. Charles got the rebound. Her 5th. Soigné. With Montgomery on the bench, Soigné will run the show exclusively from the point. Gardler at the foul line. Nice entry pass to Charles. She juggled it and couldn't finish, and then Charles commits the foul.
That was a frustration foul. She gunned that shot up there. Wasn't her typical smooth rotation, but not a good way to pick up your second foul. She worked pretty hard to get the ball. Just couldn't quite get a handle, and then gunned it up there a little bit hard, and I think she's feeling a little frustration.
Second foul on Charles, 6 on the team. UConn went on a 19-0 run early in the game to take control. The lead now is 10. They trailed 6-0, then scored the next 19 points. Left side, Ogade shoots over Gardler.
Pretty big height differential there. Ogade is 6'2".
2 points. Green, look at the explosion.
And that's the best word, explosiveness to describe Kalena Green.
Green's got 8. This UConn team, when it's operating on all cylinders, has many options, but you can just imagine if they get in a tough spot in the NCAA tournament late in the game, call on number 32's number, can't you?
Oh, clear it out for Kalena Green. She can score on anybody.
Shot clock inside 10. Green deflected the pass to help kill some of that shot clock. Stephanie Stevens for 3. Air ball. Thomas didn't have to save, but no harm by giving it to Soigné.
I wonder if she thought somebody tipped it.
Thomas left side 3, her second of the night.
Well, hey, it helped get her a wide open 3 on the left wing. Good hustle.
Her 55th 3 of the year. Number 1 in the Big East. She's got 157 in her career, 8th most in UConn history. Up to the top, Stephanie Stevens to Ogade. Inside the 3-minute mark. Jacobs to Jones, looking inside for Ogade. Instead, hands for Morgan and screen. Look at Soigné play that screen perfectly. And then Green is called for the foul. Number 1 on her and 7 on the team. So Cincinnati will shoot the 1-and-1 when we come back. Mel Thomas showing why she's the 9th most accurate 3-point shooter in the country. There's a couple of the UConn fans present tonight on the banks of the Ohio River. It's a very cold. It was very sunny but cold day. In fact, Megan, you can probably tell the story better than I can, but as we were leaving the hotel, you were complaining about how cold it was, and I said, oh no, the sun was beaming in my room all afternoon.
Well,
I don't think it's that cold.
Your exact words were, I thought it would be colder here today. And I'm like, are you kidding? It's pretty cold. So then we get to the parking garage and walk what seemed like 5 miles to the arena.
Abe Lincoln didn't walk that far to go to school.
And it was so windy. You think it's windy up on the Stores campus? Well, forget it. It was so windy. I thought we were going to need to be resuscitated when we got here.
And it's a
you,
good thing I brought that overcoat with me,
that you
which is in the back seat of the car. That was a great move on my part. After the free throws, UConn ball with 2.5 minutes remaining. 11-point Huskies lead. UConn won its first 12. Then they lost to Tennessee, suffered a second loss to North Carolina, and since then they've won 4 more. Charles with the miss. Gardler with a tough offensive board and kicks it right back out to Thomas. And Gardler nearly got another offensive
Well, that's
rebound.
what Megan Gardler does for you. She's not going to wow you with her athleticism, but she's always in the right place at the right time.
Entry pass to Ogade. They get double team weak side help from Green. Jacobs up top. Inside the 2-minute mark. Jones. Left side, Stephanie Stevens. Nice move in the baseline, but didn't get anywhere near the rim.
And Gardler went out there to get the ball, and it wasn't her man, but she's savvy enough to know she's got to stop the ball.
Soigné pull up 2. Her first basket of the night.
You know, the upside to Soigné shooting the ball, even though, you know, we were saying earlier she's open by design. I love the confidence that she plays with, that she thinks she's going to knock it down, and that's the only way you get better as a shooter, is believe it's going in.
Jacobs goes around Thomas and uses the glass. Soigné last year against Cincinnati had a career-high 10 assists, and she did it in only 17 minutes. Last year was the first time these two teams ever met. UConn won it easily, 92-71, although it was a 1-point game at the half. Huskies went on a 16-0 run in the second half to break it open.
Quite like the beginning of this game, the 16-0 run they went on. That's where they kill you.
Shot clock down to 4. Gardler for 3. No good. Tough rebound by Charles.
Something tells me she got a little talking to over on the bench. But the kid's a competitor. She wants to do well, and she knows that she's not living up to her end of the bargain right now.
First field goal of the night for Charles. She's got 4 points, but 6 rebounds. In the lane, Ogade.
That's a bad call.
Gardler and Charles were both there. Who's going to get it? Looks like Gardler will. Nope. It's Charles, and it's her third. And it's 8 in the team. So she will sit down for the rest of the half, replaced by McLaren. And at the line goes Ogade, who is not a good free throw shooter at all.
Oh, well, you know, that's a good call. See, that's the problem. And you know, you call it a freshman mistake, call it what you will, but all you got to do is body up and keep your arms straight up. The minute you break that plane and bring your hands down, the officials are going to call a foul whether you make contact or not.
So Charles sits down. Ogade shooting only 39.5% from the foul line for the season. Bellman nearly got the offensive rebound. About a 5-second differential shot clock, game clock. Soigné. McLaren set the high screen. Soigné went the other way and fed Thomas on the baseline. Rebound, Michelle Jones. Shot clock now off. And Lori Pirtle running up the floor. I think she was going to run that break with them.
She looks like she's in pretty good shape.
Awfully quick shot there for the Bearcats with the shot clock off. So now they've given...
She's pointing to the clock like, do you not see this?
And now Gino Auriemma will employ his use it or lose it first half timeout. I think she was running up the floor to probably say one shot, one shot, one shot.
And you know,
no.
and they, you know, I think some of that could be the result of having a young team, not necessarily fully aware of what's going on. And you know, you see a break opportunity and you want to take advantage instead of how much time is left in the clock. Let's make sure we get a good shot to end this half.
Some of the UConn fans present. Lori Pirtle told me from the moment we joined the Big East, everybody's been asking, when is UConn coming? There's been a real buzz around here, particularly since the summer when the game appeared on the schedule. And this is far and away Cincinnati's second largest crowd of the year. We told you about the sellout against Xavier when they had a special promotion in a determined effort to get people in the building. All right, let's see what UConn drew up in the huddle. Green. I think they said give it to number 32 and get out of her way.
Fouled.
Rebound Jones. Stephanie Stevens spins with 1. Doesn't get it to go. So Gino Auriemma is asking Joanne Aldridge, where was the call there? at the other end when Green was taking the shot. UConn fell behind 6-0, then went on a 19-0 run. The Huskies 18-2, 8-0 in the Big East, lead the Bearcats by 12 at halftime.